Awesome. So here's the truth. These are concrete, researched in the journals. This is not just my opinion. We are anatomically different. The brain is different. We've been measured. Weight changes, things like that. Genetics. There's more and more evidence coming out nowadays of the genetic propensity to have ADD and ADHD in your family, whether it's father or mother. It just continues to go up. When I meet the parents of a lot of the clients who come in, it's very obvious, and I think the parents also know it too. I don't have to point that out to them. One thing that is interesting to most people is the digestive system is different. We need to look at healing the gut. We need to look at the enzymes quantity in the person's body. So we're not dealing with a leaky gut. We're not dealing with a celiac syndrome or something like that. It's somewhere in between. And what it is where when the foods are not digested completely, they create these morphine-like substances, especially from gluten and casein, and that causes inflammations and the problems. I call that dysbiosis. But that's a big word. So we're going to go on. Inconsistent firing of the neurology. This makes more sense to more people. So we're looking at the left brain, the right brain, talking to each other. Talking about the cerebellum, the back of the brain, talking to the front of the brain. Now, there has to be information from one side or the other, and from the back of the brain to the front of the brain to work properly, to make the executive decision. And part of the neurofeedback goes through, and we learn how this is working for the kids. And clearly we know we use glucose differently, which is sugar and carbohydrates. And how many of us with ADD and ADHD love sugar? And sometimes we choose the wrong thing to eat just to get through a really low zone. But as we learn nutrition, we get better and better with these things. So what happens when the two sides of the ADD brain aren't integrated? Look at that, right? Difficulty with understanding directions, difficulty reading, late crawling, attainment of other milestones, difficulty organizational skills, impulsiveness, troubles with problem solving, and a diminished concept of consequences. Excuse me. This is where you tell Johnny or Sally, when in the world did you do that for the 100th time? You knew what was going to blah, 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 blank, 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 all of those things. I'm sure we've said them as parents. I heard it from my mother growing up. And I have parents telling me that in the past, these are certain things that they particularly know the child has an issue with and they want help with. Now, it's important now when we integrate both sides of the brain, how much better it gets. Does this list here, does that resonate? Can you guys relate to that list? Understanding directions, you're telling them over and over and over and over to do something. Sometimes reading is a big deal. How many of you, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, there's 7 of these. How many of you out there, raise your hand, have at least 5 of those would be a yes for you? Ta-da! It's amazing, right? So the best part about these is they can be improved. I see them improving every week at school, with the kids in the report cards, or you get letters back from teachers, or kids who used to have a behavior chart. There isn't a behavior chart anymore because they don't need it. And they got so many stars or green lights or popsicle sticks, whatever they're doing in that classroom. So it does get better. So we're going to move on. So this is what's possible. Better global brain function, increased ability to synchronize the sensory information. We're talking about a lot of sensory integration issues nowadays. The braking system. That's that pause between stimulus and response. It's interesting how that's the impulsive piece to us. So we want to slow that down, give them a pause button. Improving the brain's ability to learn and moderate behavior, intention, and impulsivity. That's fantastic. Downshifting. All the hyperactivity. I swear, we could do an entire presentation, webinar, study, and base this one, downshifting, the motor hyperactivity, and use analogies such as video games and other things. This is where we're looking at using NeuroSky and MindPlay along with their games and apps to really help these folks, kids, parents, adults, any of the clients to get better. You definitely want to help with emotional swings and frustrations. In fact, that's where mind play really, that's where we connected on this an interesting phone call. I was at the skate park with the boys, and they called me from London on my cell phone while I was outside. And the first subject that we talked about was emotional intelligence. Well, we know, it's well known that people with ADD or ADHD, husbands, wives, adults, adolescents, kids, emotionally we're not as mature or responsible as we could be. Trying to be politically correct. How many of you agree with that in terms of emotional swings and frustration? Yeah, I'll speak up for you. So as we integrate both sides of the brain, we're going to improve all aspects of executive functioning, and this creates that neuroplastic change in the brain and essential neurology, which is where you see new pathways being created, new habits, new thoughts, new actions, new behavior. There's that adage about people never change, and they do. And it takes work, and it takes consistency, and it takes a good support group around them to help them get over some of the tough times and get over the default behaviors. But it does help. We're moving right along. Let's see where we are here. That's not where I want to go. Okay, so we need to talk a little bit about mind play. Let me look at some of these questions that are popping up here really quick. Really? Okay. All right, just to speak up and okay, got it. So, Mind Play is a company in London, and they really started doing this about 2 or 3 years ago with mental health. And this guy here, Trey Azam, this guy here is the CEO, and they were trying to push this company out into the marketplace based on improving mental health. Well, of course, that was a tough sell, and so they started turning it into performance management and then a gaming company. Well, then it just took off. And at that point, we found out that we had some things in common. Not to mention we both love soccer, and a lot of the soccer teams that we like are from London anyway. Now, Mind Play uses EEG brainwave technology. We use a headset, okay? And what it does is it actually reads the brainwaves coming out of the mind, about 7 or 8 of them, particularly looking at the alpha waves being the calm, the relaxed, the meditative ones, okay? And the beta waves being your I'm focused, I'm attentive. Now, there's gamma and there's delta and there's other ones that are there, but particularly those two are important for kids with ADD and ADHD because the games and apps that this company uses, they can directly, I see the kids almost feel the difference. They feel it when they're working on a program with me in the practice or the ones online that are on our server. So this company's innovated mind control video. They've innovated mind control games and apps. I try to keep the word mind control out of this because that's got some negative connotations. I like brain controlled. It was pretty neat. Now they're working with some high-level folks here. We've got, Mercedes-Benz. They've worked with high-level golfers, Manchester City soccer teams, Olympic teams, and it's really, really fun that we have been chosen as the first people in the United States to use this specifically for ADHD. That is so huge. No one else, get that? Nobody else is doing this for ADHD in the United States. And we have the exclusivity with them to do this. So, what we're looking at is on the right, you can see there's a software that we use first, and it maps the brain waves as the kids are working with me or talking. And different levels, there's 3 waves, there's several dials on the right that have to do with attention and meditation and Zen, or the zone, go in a flow state. And then it also gives us an idea of how we can record it while they're either playing a game. I've recorded kids doing their homework. I've recorded myself. I've recorded clients using apps on their phones versus clients with their eyes closed. So it's neat to notice that. And near the end of this, I'm going to show you. And I'll show you a couple of these things because it's interesting to watch what happens. Let's see. I want to come out of this for a little bit. I'll pull this up for you. So you can see my screen. What I'm going to show you here Can you see that screen? Put your hand up if you can see graphs with lines on them and stuff like that. You guys see a graph on your screen with a bunch of lines going across the top? It looks like data fields. Good. Okay, you can see those now? So what we're showing you is the actual recordings of clients, brainwaves and things like that. So we want to make sure that you know that what we're doing is actually tried and true. So we're not just playing, some goofy little game from Five Below or something like that. Now let's pull up a recording. There's no names and stuff like that, so you don't have to get in trouble. Let's say this is myself, okay, going through a game, and the meditative one where we actually float a disco ball, it's like a Jedi game, and this is the meditative one. It wants to be higher than the intensity focus. And right in the middle, this is the zone line. So that's important to know that that's there. Now where we have right here, another kid was playing an app. And what was interesting is that while he was looking for the app on his phone, the focus went high. And then while he was in the middle of it, it went down. This is 50%. This is high up here. Right in the middle, this is a 50% focus and zone and meditative state. So, people who say, oh, this app is really good for my attention, it's not always true. Down here on this one, the theta wave is a creative, really well thought out thing. And we know that the beta waves are the ones we want higher. Look how low they are. It was incredible to watch that. So, going through, as we're looking at this stuff, it becomes apparent that what we want to do as we use mind plays games, one's called Focus Pocus, and there's so much research on neurofeedback that it's being done in schools, it's being used and researched. My goal, what I've been working on the last couple of weeks, is we've been getting the wording correct for IEPs to recommend this type of help in the schools. Okay, and of course there's red tape, and of course there's bureaucratical stuff that's out there. But most importantly is, we know that IEPs can't recommend a device. So what we're looking at is recommending and defining mind plays, brainwave controlled games in such a narrow perspective that this is what we want them to use. One of the major reasons we want them to use Mind Play and NeuroSky with us is because every 25 days we can kick out a report of progress and hand it to the teacher or the therapist or the medical doctor, anybody, superintendent, I don't care, and the parents, of course, because what we want to do is get results, and we want to get results with as many ways possible that don't require medication. Like I said before, I've never met a parent that really wants to have their kid on medication, and there are parents out there that have their kids on medication, and it does work. There are some kids in our program that have dropped their dosage significantly, as we get to the point where they learn new tools and they learn how emotions feel inside themselves. They start eating food better. The exercises that we give them to do at home, like physical exercises and cognitive drills, and the visual exercises. This isn't just one thing where they come into the chiropractic office and we adjust them and kick them out. There are so many aspects to the ADHD rescue program that it's mind-boggling, and it's never the same for each individual because everybody's different. Some people may get more of the behavior modification coaching from me. Some folks may need a really big focus on nutrition and some movements and changes, and then the other folks may need really the thought patterns and the understanding of really who they are as a human being with ADHD. So everybody's different, and coming through this program, And it's amazing to see. So these are the tools, in our toolbox to help improve the expression of the ADHD systems. And Dr. Hollowell trained and certified me to identify developmental and environmental triggers for ADHD and help the person eliminate them from life. The adjustments themselves factually increase neural efficiency and they decrease the neural stress, reconnecting that spine, the cerebellum, the prefrontal cortex, the brain, reintegrating neurological processes. We apply very specialized and specific physical exercises when they're ready, and the movements when they're able to, and they have the body awareness to make it happen. Of course, we do dietary and nutritional shifts. We use different supplements, vitamins, and different regimens to make that work. The brain-friendly lifestyle advice. As many folks as we're taking care of, week in, week out, online and offline, we know what works. And I can relate to so many different stories I see on Facebook and different groups and parents looking for help and trying to find a way to do something different. And I really feel like the parents believe there's a better way. They just don't know where it is. The teachers, it's not their fault either. The teachers believe there's a better way. They just don't know how to do it either. The Mind Play interactive games, their apps, their reports, super helpful. And the company is so supportive. It's amazing. They've helped us knock down the price of the games and headsets as a package for us, probably over 150 pounds, because it's just in London. And obviously the vitalistic and humanistic approach to healing is everything that we're about. We believe that inside that human being comes into our practice, there is something absolutely amazing. And it may be covered with years and years and years of stuff, but it's there. And I know because I talk to audiences of parents and ask them, when was the last time you had that glimpse of genius, that amazing moment where you were so proud of your child that you wanted to scream it from the rooftops and update your Facebook status about it, and then not only 15 minutes later that you're pulling your hair out, but it's that genius moment, it's that glimmer of hope that we want to maximize. And that's our purpose. That's our mission. And anybody who's met me in person knows I am not making this up. So the cool part is with our practice and the way we use social media and online things, most of my entire practice literally is in a cloud. No paper, barely any paper in the practice itself, and lots of things happening digitally. So, on our Facebook fan page, you've seen this. People can schedule appointments directly from that. That's new in the last couple of weeks. It's pretty cool. Literally click that book now button and you can schedule an appointment. There's a special calendar for ADHD Rescue new clients. You can click on that and it will literally show you open available times for you. And most people coming in, it's $400 for the hour of the evaluation. And since you're on this webinar, the cost is only $200. So you save $200 because you're on this webinar and you actually want to find a better way for whether it's your spouse or your friend or your son or your daughter. Maybe it's yourself. Who knows? But anyway, this information is priceless. And I was able to record 75% of this webinar. So if you want to just schedule directly online, you can go to that website at the bottom. But anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check out some of these, if I can get to these questions here. Let's see. Does anybody have any other questions? Let's see, there's also a chat box down here too. GoToWebinar's really changed. It's pretty cool. Alright, so all the entire audience should be able to see that. And we actually hit this right on the nose, didn't we? 30 minutes. Cool. So I have a question coming up, and it says, basically, can I help in any way besides not medicine? So what I think they're asking is probably twofold, is do I have to stop medicating my kids and stuff like that? And of course not. I can't tell you to do that. I wouldn't tell you to do that anyway. That would be something you have to talk about with your doctor, your medical doctor, and to wean off if you want to. I do have kids in the practice who are on medication and it's getting lower and lower. We've also worked with their medical doctors to get a different type of medication that would be better for that child while the kid's learning nutritional changes and exercises, or sitting in a different place in the classroom, or using different things and study skills as well. So that's important to know. Another question, yes, I do take care of adults. The oldest is 47, I believe, and our youngest client is 4 years old. Let me see the question. The program is 2 times a week. Twice a week, clients are in to see me in the practice, if that's the way they're going to do it. It's twice a week online, if that's where they're going to be meeting up with me and then taking the coaching and working on pretty much everything they can do online, besides obviously the chiropractic adjustment piece. But we're working on that also. What's the next question? Holy moly. Yes, the IEP is important. The biggest thing is that parents don't realize that you have all the rights with the IEP. You have the right to bring someone with you. You have a right to have an attorney. You have a right to say yes or no, or to request certain things. Schools kind of make the parent feel like they don't have their responsibility. They don't have the right to a lot of the requests that they need for their child, but they absolutely do. Another one. Yes. Someone had mentioned something about essential oils. We do have added essential oils into the program as of the last 2 or 3 months. And yes, we have seen very good results. Yes, we have used them on different parts of the body. I won't tell you exactly where. And I do have a particular formula I made for my clients and myself that we have in a roller bottle for this program. And no, I won't tell you what's in it. I can't do that. Let's see. What else? Okay. All right. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time, and we're going to wrap this up. And if you are not on our email list to get all the updates, we're doing several different library presentations in the next 2 or 3 months. I think there's 5 to 7 of them all over Chesterfield County, Glen Allen, Tuckahoe, Twin Hickory, Bon Air, Chesterfield, up and down 288, 64, helping as many people as possible. Every noon Thursday we're going to be having webinars, and also we're going to work into the program somehow to do hangouts at night, which are straight videos right off of YouTube where I can have guest speakers come on and join me. And so I hope you get on that email list, and if you need to schedule an appointment, you can, or you can also call us at the number 804-859-5406. Have an awesome day. Bye-bye.